Hey guys, my name is Kelton and this is Obsessed Reviews. This is a channel where I give all my thoughts and opinions on vehicles. And today we're going to be looking at the 2025 Kia K5, which is refreshed and it is very heavily refreshed. So let's get started. Okay, so the Kia K5 is known for its spicy looks. It's a really good looking vehicle, and it's garnered a lot of attention from people when it first came out in 2021, including myself. I love the Kia K5 personally. I love it so much, the current generation, and I think that this new generation will be a great improvement. Starting with the exterior, some of the things they have changed is they've changed the headlights, taillights, and bumpers on the front and the rear. Other than that, also the interior of course, but other than that, the vehicle is still relatively the same. The new headlights are, they're starting to change the headlights with Kia. For the past few years, their theme has been the amber headlights, and I really enjoyed that as well as a lot of people have. But Kia is kind of ending that era and they're putting all white lights on their vehicles like everybody else. But even though I'm kind of sad that the amber lights are going to be going away on the K5, they're still going to look very good because they have changed it to look more cohesive with the rest of the design. It has this portion of the headlight that juts out and it goes towards the A-pillar, and I think that looks really good. As well as the taillights, it's no longer the dash design, which I'm kind of sad about because that was a really special and unique design feature on the K5. But the taillights still look good. Wouldn't say it's an improvement though. That could have been left the same. Also, the new wheel designs. I don't quite know how I feel about the wheel designs yet. I can't wait to see what trim level is going to have what, because of course it hasn't been released yet. But I'm guessing that the black 19s are going to be some kind of nightshade edition. The 19s that I'm seeing other than that are going to be on the GT, and the 18s that I'm seeing are going to be the EX and the GT line, like always. So the GT line rims look okay. Not as good as the other GT line rims from this current generation, but they look good. They remind me of Audi A3 rims. Also, the GT rims, I really like them. They look very high-end and thin, if that makes sense. That was not a good description, but they look high-end to me, and I really like that design. I would say it's a slight improvement from the last generation, but what's kind of plagued me is that as I'm looking at these pictures of the K5, I'm not seeing any with a rear spoiler on them. I don't know if I'm tripping or something, but there's no real spoiler on any of these vehicles, but I'm sure there will be, at least for the US market. So yeah, another thing I can't wait to see is the Kia K5, this black edition that I keep seeing over and over, because the K5 didn't offer any black rim options last year or any like blacked out trim like a lot of the other brands did, and I think the K5 would look amazing in that, and I really like the way this looks. So I think it's going to be very popular. Now, this K5 is a very extensive refresh for a refresh, and I'm really excited about it. So, moving on with the interior, Kia has updated it to have the same Kia design that is kind of beginning to be put on all their vehicles, with the huge single panel of glass for the touchscreens, to 12.3-inch screens, I think, if I'm correct. And some new colors will be added in the K5. The new interior looks really upscale and is an overall improvement in my opinion. And I'm also glad that it got the digital gauge cluster because the last generation did not have that at all. It had that 6-inch screen, could have been a 5-inch, that was really small, and to be completely transparent was a disappointment for such a great car that it was. The new interior color options look really good to me. The only color options I've seen so far is the orange, the black, of course, with the black edition that I've been seeing, and the white. And I think they all look really good and complement the interior. But I really do hope there might be something like the blue we had, the ash blue last generation, because that looked so good to me. And I appreciate polarizing color options for a car like the K5 because the K5 is just really bold. Now, another thing I'd like to point out about the interior is that the climate controls have changed. And they've changed it now to have the same technology that the Sportage introduced, which is the switching climate controls that can either be climate controls for your climate controls, or they can be media controls. And I haven't got to test this out, of course, but I think that it's a really interesting design, and I still need to check out the functionality of it and how people interact with it on the daily, and what people think of it who have bought the vehicles that have it. Because now it's on the Sportage, it's on the next generation Sorento, I think. It's already in the Telluride, and now it's coming to the K5. So a lot of vehicles have it, and I want to know people's opinions on it. And last thing I want to talk about with the K5 interior is two things. Is I see that now, instead of the shifter that we had that was based off of a plain throttle, we now have the knob shifter, and I love knob shifters. I don't know what you guys think about it, but I really love knob shifters, so I have no problem with that. But I know a lot of people dislike them, so I can't wait to see what people think about that. And also, the vents now have on the right side, they have a continuous design, and I really love continuous vents like that. But it's getting a little overused in the industry because it seems like every other car has it. So I'm neutral on that. Also, I'm not digging the colored plastic on some of these color options for the interior. The interior looks really good, but I cannot stand colored plastic. People need to stop. If it's not leather or some other material, it doesn't need to be colored, because colored plastic just looks tacky. But I really do love this interior overall, and I feel like it should have been what was on the 2021 version. This also reminds me a lot of the Cadenza interior. If you can look that up, it looks a lot like that. Now, moving on to the engine options, which are very boring. But, I'm pretty sure they're going to be the same as always. I've heard rumors of the GT not coming to the United States again, which I hope not, because the GT was a really cool car, and it had a lot of power. It was just a really cool car. But, the GT line always has offered 180 horsepower, and the GT offers 290 horsepower and 311 pound-feet of torque. So I really hope that all of the engine options get to come to the United States again. And also, I have heard a few rumors of maybe a hybrid coming, but I don't know, because we do know that that's possible because the Sonata has a hybrid, but I have not heard really any real evidence of a potential hybrid coming. I would hope so, though, because that could open their horizons to a whole new audience. Anyways, guys, this is coming to the end of the video. I feel like I kind of rushed it, but I'm going to give you my final little thoughts and conclusions. So the K5 is a really cool car, right? And I'm so glad that Kia is finally refreshing it so it can have all the newest tech, because that's all it was missing. It was a perfect sedan other than that. And they did an amazing job. And this is a really competitive, segment, because it's such a small segment. So, and Kia is a competitive brand. And I've given Kia compliments before on so many things because I love them, and how they always keep their cars up to date and always make sure that they're the best they can be. And I really love that about Kia. So I think this is another example of that, of them making something that was already great even better, and showing everybody else who's boss. Hopefully, though, they do better with marketing, because as we know, last generation, they did not sell what they expected. And part of that, to me, I think, is because they didn't advertise the vehicle at all. There was one stunt move that they did when they jumped it, and that was pretty much it. They never advertised the vehicle, but it still sold a good amount for it. So hopefully, with this new refresh, they actually, look at him, they actually advertise it. Once again, I'm sorry, this is such a short video. I was kind of rushing, but thank you guys for watching. And if you made it this far, please like and subscribe. Bye.